remember when I said that I was like super interested in the Aiel culture? Well, in this part, it's literally, bro, it's like Aiel jam-packed information. And yeah, let's just get started straight away. In the last part, we left off with like everyone, kind of going their own ways. Like, we have Perrin's group going to the two rivers, and now everything is pretty much setting out to the next destination, even though it's not quite set out yet. So we start off with Elaine and Nynaeve. They are on their way to the port, so they could board a ship that goes to Tanchico. However, while we're like experiencing this, right, we can see like the culture and then the working class people in Tyre and how poorly they're treated, pretty much, and then also Nynaeve. Oh my god, like Nynaeve, I love you and all, but come on, like when they were going to the port, right, with like the guy who actually carried them there, Nynaeve literally did him so dirty. She was just putting him down, while Elaine at the end, she was like bringing him back up, and I'm like, I still love Nynaeve, but come on, man. Anyway, so let's move past that, right? So when they got on the ship, they were met up with some two sisters. They're very interesting the way they were kind of described. Like they had they had chains of freaking jewelry all over their faces. my bad. I should have not said chains. They had like jewelry, yeah. They had rings in the nose. They pierced their ears and blah blah blah. Yeah, so pretty much these were like the wave dancers, sisters. I don't know. I only remember one of their names. I think it was Jorin. I forgot the other one's name. I don't know, something like that. I know that she had a husband that she kind of told off at the end. That's like a massive theme that I've kind of found in the Shadow Rising, how women are just looking down on men so much. Like even once we get to the Aiel part, like damn man, it's quite insane. I thought it couldn't have got worse compared to the first book, but here we are. So anyway, so they were negotiating with the Wave Dancer sisters. Now, these sisters said that they're pretty much sea folks, right? And sea folks don't like Aes Sedai. They think that Aes Sedai are bad luck. So eventually they came down to an agreement that if they hide their rings and they kind of disguise themselves as not being Aes Sedai, they will allow them to board the ship, because they kind of gave them the motive of them hunting the Black Arja. That was their main reason for going to Tanchico. So after all, back in clash, blah blah blah, I think it was Jorin. She was the main one that kind of accepted them to be on the ship. And yeah, like I said, at the end, the other sister's husband came. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get some trades done. We're gonna get some trades done in this city and that city. But then the wife was like, nah, shut the hell up. We're going to Tanchico, alright? So yeah, like I said, now and after that, right, the whole boat started shaking and everyone was like, well, okay, what's going on? So when they went back to the deck, whatever, they see Tom and Julian trying to force their way in, and it was interesting because obviously it was hard to know what their motive was until Tom said that Moraine had sent me. He openly said that Moraine had sent me here. While they were kind of I understand why they wouldn't trust Julian, because Julian kind of did betray them in the past, but I can't blame him. Bro, this guy got manipulated by the Black Arja, so stuff that. But they still don't trust Tom, because he openly said that Moraine had sent them, and how Nynaeve does not like Moraine, so fair enough, what I mean. But then Elaine's also having these vague memories of Tom. I swear she's I've seen this guy before, that mustache, that pattern, that style, I know that from somewhere. But of course she was a little kid, it's hard for her to know. So they were having discussions, and Tom was talking about the ages of legends. I have no idea, to be honest. Like I said, I've been off this book for 3 months, so I kind of forgot a lot. So one thing, if I kind of missed on something, let me know down in the comments below, because my mind with the story is kind of a bit rusty, but I'll try my best to go on. Anyway, so what's it called? Like I said, Elaine had seen Jorin. She was actually using the one power. She was channeling, trying to keep the boats steady and whatsoever. So she asked Jorin if she could train her to channel with the weather. And yeah, so she had 10 days to practice, because in 10 days they will reach Tanchico, and that's where we actually end off with Elaine and Nynaeve's part. Now, The next chapter, I absolutely, oh my goodness, man, that was an amazing chapter. So this is, I forgot whose point of view this was. I think it was either Moraine or Elaine's, whatever. So everyone was gathered in the stone because Rand had that massive announcement, remember? So everyone was there, like the High Lords of Tyrion, like nobles, blah blah blah. Before I get to the main part, I just want to mention one thing. Like in this part, I've noticed something about Lan and Moraine. I feel like Lan is kind of distancing himself from Moraine, and Moraine kind of is not like appreciating that. But I think this is very good for Lan's character. I've been saying that Lan had always been kind of under Moraine her shadow, so I feel like there's more to come with Lan, and I don't know, I kind of find it quite interesting how we're kind of getting this vibe from Lan and Moraine. When Rand finally comes, literally followed by 100 Aiel veiled up, like, yo, that was some epic entrance, bro. He just literally casually walks in with freaking Aiel behind him, like, yeah, you don't want to mess with this guy, man. This guy is a dragon, man. This guy is the proper dragon. Yeah, man, do not mess with this guy, man. So yeah, when he started to announce his, his reasons to kind of gather everyone up. So first of all, he said that he's gonna send Tyrion army to Cairhien, not for war purposes, because we know that how Cairhien has kind of been in trouble, right? They're kind of like in the aftermath of like something bad, so he wants the army to kind of help them resolve their problems and kind of help them rebuild all their problems. That's his intentions of sending the Tyrion armies to Cairhien, which honestly I was not surprised, because he did kind of, that was his vibe. It has been his vibe, trying to lower the taxes, blah blah blah. So, and then this part shocked me though. He grabbed Calendar, the freaking sword that he used to like demolish like Belal and Baalzamon in the last book. He got that sword, slammed it down on the heart of the stone, and he's like, listen, I'm going on an adventure. Whoever dares to take the sword out, you're more than welcome to do it until I come back. And then he just leaves. Bro, I cannot tell you, Rand. Yeah, this is the character that most people hate. Come on now. This is the character that Rand. Yo, I understand that he's messed up in the head. I understand that, but that's what makes him a good character. You can't expect a character to be all freaking perfect and stuff. He is by far one of the most interesting character. He's literally up there with like Lanfear, Payton Fane, even Matt. Like, these are the caliber of characters that's like, yo, you want to read more of them. Like, just the actions that they take is just so epic, unpredictable. Yeah, man, I feel like Rand is definitely climbing his way up in my character list 100%. So yeah, after he leaves, Moraine literally catches up to Rand and she's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, Moraine, like, there's another theme, like Moraine, like there's another theme between Moraine and Rand, right? Rand is becoming super independent of Moraine now. I feel like before, like, Moraine was all over him, but this time Rand is like making his own choices, blah blah blah. So Moraine obviously is not happy with whatever Rand does, and then Rand finally concludes that he is going to RHUIDEAN, where Matt also wants to go, because when Matt went through the gates, they told him to go to RHUIDEAN because he's gonna marry the Princess of the Nine Moons or something like that. I don't know. We also know that RHUIDEAN is like a city in clouds from some vague descriptions. I'm not quite sure. And also the way that Rand plans to go to RHUIDEAN is by using the portal stones. Like, I'm telling you, bro, this guy is like mad. When I first said, read that, I'm like, yo, is this gonna be like a flicker part 2? It wasn't that, it wasn't that detailed when it actually happened, but still, I'm like, remember the last time he did this, he almost like messed everything up. So yeah, even like Moraine and everyone else was like super confused, like, what? But like, you're trying to take a whole army of Aiel and us to RHUIDEAN by using the portal stones. Like, are you mad? And then Rand was just super, he knew what he was doing, because he apparently found this Angriel. It was like a fat man with a sword on his knee. He found this, I don't know where he found it, but apparently it allows him to channel more, to use the one power more or something like that. So he used the freaking Angriel, gathered everyone as close as he could, and literally just just managed to take everyone to RHUIDEAN. Like, this man is absolutely insane. We know how difficult it is to. I remember back then he took like, I don't know, was it like 6 people? This time he took like over like, I don't know, man, how many people he took this time. Like, the power jump in Rand is like insane right now from the last book till now. Anyway, so once everyone comes out of RHUIDEAN, Rand is extremely exhausted. And guess what Moraine tries to do? She goes to him and tries to heal him straight away without his permission, blah, blah, blah. And then that kind of annoys Rand. Rand's like, I'm not your puppet anymore. Don't do as you please. And I found that quite funny, bro. And then, yeah, I feel like Rand and Lan's relationship is also kind of growing, because I feel like Lan, he has been agreeing to a lot of things that Rand's been saying, which kind of annoys Moraine. Like I said, it's been a thing. It's been a thing here now. So I'm quite interested to see where this leads up. And okay, now once they came to RHUIDEAN, there was already people there expecting their arrival because of dreamwalkers. There were 4 wise ones. I think 2 of them could dreamwalk. I think all of them can dreamwalk, but 2 of them were like really good dreamwalker. One of them was Amiss, the one that Egwene saw in Telon Riot, right? And then the one also who told Egwene to come to the Aiel Waste so she could learn how to dreamwalk. So Amiss was there, and then we also find out that Rhuarc, that sick guy, bro, who sent Berylin, what's his name, Berylin? Yeah, who sent Berylin and Fail to their bedrooms. That guy was a sick guy. So yeah, we find out that Rhuarc and Amiss are actually married, I think, or together, I don't know. But okay, this chapter I actually liked a lot. I feel like it was very complex, but then it was very difficult to understand. I feel like they kind of emphasize more on the Aiel culture. Like, there's different clans and there's different tribes, blah blah blah. I remember when the wise ones came, the one clan or one tribe came, this guy's name was like Cauldrian or whatever, and apparently his brother went to RHUIDEAN so he could apparently pass the test, so he could become the next clan chief, something like that. And then this Cauldrian guy was he was a problem to deal with, I'm not gonna lie, because when Rand was like to them, I want to go to RHUIDEAN, the wise ones, they said, since you have the Aiel blood in you, you can go. And then this Cauldron guy was like, still, he's not one of us. Like, he was still complaining, blah, blah, blah. But when Mat was like, I need to also go to RHUIDEAN, he literally took his weapons out. He was about to kill him. He literally was in the motion of killing him until the wise ones used the one power to kind of take his weapons out. And yeah, so now we know that the wise ones are like Aes Sedai level, if not stronger, because the way they're talking down on these Aes Sedais are quite interesting. Like everyone, like, no one likes Aes Sedai. Like, if you go back to the first chapter where Elaine was talking to Jorin was like, I don't want any Aes Sedai near me, because if they do know that I channel, they're gonna take me to the White Tower. Just like everything, like Moraine also apparently planned to take Avienda to the White Tower, because apparently she could like make the most of her powers or blah blah blah. So like I said, I kind of get where all these other people are coming from. Like, even like I don't like the way that the White Tower do their business. Like, just because someone can channel, they can just take them. They literally take them in. I don't know, just the way they handle things is just, I don't know. That's why I never trusted the Amyrlin seat. What was her name again? Suan. Yeah, I never trusted her. She seemed okay, but at the same time, I don't know, I feel like she's just one of them characters that's gonna have like some crazy plot twist, I don't know, going forward. So it's gonna be interesting. Another thing I want to talk about is Avienda, when she was helping the men, or not, I don't know if it's men, or if helping everyone out, like packing things up. The wise one said, you don't have to do that anymore. Now you're not a maiden of the spear anymore. You are going to become a wise one. And now apparently she has to go to RHUIDEAN, and Avienda was very, very upset. Like, Egwene was very emotional as well. Like, Egwene tried to back her up, but then there was no point, because Avienda, she's a person that does not want any sympathy or any empathy from anyone else. So fair enough, but the way that they sent her was interesting. Oh yeah, one more thing I want to mention is apparently like a girl can go to RHUIDEAN twice, and a man can go to RHUIDEAN once, only if they're Aiel. So and like people outsiders can't go, but since Mat was an exception because Rand took him in, I'm not sure how that works. I think they broke the law because apparently something had to change. So I don't know, it was interesting. But then the way that, you know, both Mat, Rand and Avienda was sent was interesting, because Matt and Rand they only had to put their weapons down to go to RHUIDEAN, while Avienda literally had to strip down naked and run. I don't understand why she had to. Actually, nah, now I know. Oh, because she was probably. Yeah, now I know. Because I remember Nynaeve and freaking Egwene's test, the accepted test, they had to also do that when they had to go through the Ter'angreal. So I think being a wise one and an Aes Sedai is kind of the same thing. Maybe that's why she had to do that. And she was probably heading towards a Ter'angreal, while Rand had to head towards like columns, and well, Matt had to head for like some door frame. So maybe that's why. I'm not quite entirely sure. And one other shocking thing, apparently these Dreamwalkers already saw Moraine entering RHUIDEAN as well. So at the end of the chapter, what's it called? Moraine was like, you know what? I might as well just, also just run along to RHUIDEAN. Like, that caught me off guard. And then Egwene also kind of wanted to go just because she was curious, but then everyone was like, no, you stay here so we can teach you how to dreamwalk. So yeah, that was a lot in one chapter. That was a lot of information, and I quite enjoyed it. I feel like that was a very, very, very good Wheel of Time chapter. Okay, now in the next chapter, we finally know what RHUIDEAN is like. Now, it is a city in clouds. However, this city is very depressing. I'm not gonna lie. Just by the descriptions of it, it's quite... I don't know. So this city is like, it seems broken, but it's actually unfinished. Like, there's a lot of statues. There's a lot of like, I don't know, man, like sculptures and blah blah blah. But then yeah, it's a very dark setting, I'm not gonna lie. But the only light in the situation was that tree of life, Avendesora. That tree was literally there. So it was interesting to see a tree full of life in a city that's completely dead. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, so Matt and Rand had two different mindsets. Matt wants to leave, Rand he's very determined. He also seemed a bit mad, I'm not gonna lie, was laughing a bit here and there. And Matt was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep going because I was told to come here, blah blah blah. So yeah, anyway, so they ended up finding columns, right? And then Rand was like, I feel like you should stay here and I should go on, just wait for me, and yeah, when I come back we will leave together. So yeah, when Rand went inside the columns, Matt was contemplating if he should leave. He gave Rand 1 hour, but before he did that, he saw a door frame. This door frame looked identical to the one in Tear, where he asked the 3 questions to the snake people. However, I'm pretty sure there was something off with this door frame. It's either some red coloring or some symbols that may seem off. I'm not quite sure. I think Matt didn't notice, but I think as a reader, I think I kind of did notice. So of course it makes sense. It definitely was different, because when he freaking went inside the door, there was fox people, not snake, fox people. And correct me if I'm wrong, these fox people, they were wearing like a freaking jacket or like a blanket that was like made from human skin. Like, you know how back in the days, right, when, what's it called, where humans like Vikings and, freaking in medieval times, people wear coats made from like wolves' fur, bear coat. This fox guy was wearing a freaking coat made out of human skin. I don't know if I read that wrong, but if it did, holy yes, that's mad. That's actually mad. So yeah, Matt being Matt, it was like, you know what, just lead me somewhere where my questions can be answered. So same thing happened. This fox thingy-majiggy took Matt to bigger fox thingies, where these fox thingies literally kind of were a bit more scary, I'm not gonna lie. They were like, okay, ask what you need for a price to be paid or something like that. I didn't write everything word for word, but it was something like that. Now, Matt asked 3 questions. I forgot what the 3 questions were, but I think he was like, why was I sent to RHUIDEAN? Why do I have to marry the Princess of the 9 Moons? And I forgot the last one, but pretty much none of his questions were answered. However, this part was quite interesting. He said, in frustrations, he was saying a bunch of stuff. He was like, oh my god, I can't even remember something, like my memory must be dead. And then they said done, and he was like, what is done, blah blah blah. And then again in frustration, he was like, I just want to be free from the Aes Sedai and all this power stuff. And they said done again. I don't know how many, they said done a lot of times actually. I forgot how many times. If there was some important stuff, let me know down in the comments section below. I feel like I definitely missed something, because at the end, like, what's it called, I swear he was getting choked. He was getting choked by something, I don't know by what, but he was getting choked and everything just went blank. Like, I'm not sure what exactly happened towards the end. It was actually quite interesting. So Matt is definitely in trouble, and yeah, we'll get back to Matt in a bit, because god damn. Okay, now Rand is now in the columns. Apparently this is where the trial actually begins. He met up with what was his name again? Moradin? Yeah, Cauldron's brother, right? Where he's trying to become the clan chiefs. Pretty much here, they're just stepping forward, stepping back, stepping forward, stepping back. They're like freaking marching in one spot, experiencing different experiences through different people, if that makes sense. Because when Rand also started doing this motion, stepping forward, he was in someone's body, but he can't control it. He's like seeing what another person had lived through their eyes. So pretty much, I think at first I was confused, but then it kind of made sense. So pretty much, you're starting off with one generation, and then in the next vision, you're going backwards. You just keep going backwards, which was quite interesting. Like, normally it makes sense to go forward, but this time we're going backwards, which is fine, whatever. So what's it called? Okay, I'm gonna have to read from my book because this part's quite interesting. So Rand's first vision, I'm pretty sure this guy was kind of scouting RHUIDEAN, like when he was kind of like untouched, because yeah, it was interesting though. And then the next one, like, what's it called? Another common theme with Aiels back in the day, there were two types of Aiel. There was like the normal Aiel, and there were like the Gen Aiel, and then we also got the Dai Shane Aiel. And I don't know if I missed anything else, but I think the Dai Shane Aiel comes a bit, it's like a more back. So we're gonna talk about the Gen Aiel and then the normal Aiel. I forgot which one did what, but I feel like one was like very true to the way of the leaf, and at first I'm like, that sounded very, very familiar. What was the way of the leaf again? And then when they said no killing, no what's it called, violence and so on, I was like, yo, that is back when we knew who freaking Perrin was in book 1. What was that guy's name again? The guy with the wolves and stuff, that like when they encountered the Tuatharon people, and then the guy who was flirting with Egwene. I'm like, yo, we're going back to those people. So other Tuatharon, like the ancestors of the Aiel, not the ancestors, the descent, how do you say it again? The childrens of the Aiel, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, god damn, because I've like eventually we get to understand that they had like a conflict. Like, some of the Aiel really were strict to the way of the leaf, while others kind of rebelled against that belief, and that's how we know that the first maiden of the spear was born. Yo, that part was epic as hell. I think when the guy asked this lady, like, do you have a husband, blah blah blah, and she was just complaining about the husband, how he was just too much into the way of the leaf. Like, if his daughter got captured, he would just be, oh well, it is what it is. She got frustrated, and now she's like, I'm wedded to the spear now. That's how the first maiden of the spear was born. And yo, that was so freaking epic, man. I loved it, man. And yeah, like I said, we learned more about the way of the leaf, just how the Aiel people were like back in the days, because right now they're just so freaking violent. They're like so freaking different right now. Like, I remember back then the Aiel were like so peaceful. They pretty much were the Tuatharon people, and now they're like complete savages, warriors. Like, it's mad. It's actually mad to see how much the Aiel have changed overall. We also get to learn about the Ogier. Now, I didn't pay attention too much about this part. I just, read Ogier, and yeah, I think I might have to read that part again. So my apologies, I'm gonna kind of skip that part. Now, the next part, we kind of see we're going more back and back. And the more back we go, the more we can see how these Aiel people worshipped Aes Sedai. Like, we can see how they were proper servants of the Aes Sedai. Like, these Aes Sedai were like ordering the Daishan Aiel to kind of take away the Tangrill from the normal people in this world. And then we also get to find out the dragon ending the war and how everyone was at relief and blah blah blah. And then after that, we get to find out how, now this part was kind of confusing. I'm pretty sure it referred to the dragon, not the dragon, the Dark One's prison kind of breaking from a male and a female Aes Sedai. They used the one power together. It was like a black sphere. It kind of exploded outwards. It was like ashes everywhere, shadows everywhere, and that kind of I remember in the previous point of view, they ended the war and everyone was in big relief. The next part was that spear looking thing. I remember it was called like the boar or something, the boar breaking. And then that was the end of the point of views. And then that's where Rand, I think, had passed the test. Now, bear in mind, while this was happening, the other dude, Muradin, was slowly destroying himself. Like, he was scratching his eyes out, and at the end, he was just nothing. He wasn't even there anymore. So that's quite interesting. And then when Rand left the area, this part was insane, bro. He saw Matt hanging from the Tree of Life, Avendensora. They could have not chosen a worse location. Like, you choose to show someone hanging off a tree that's meant for life. Like, bro, that's mad. So Rand, he summoned a flame sword, cut it off. He literally gave Matt first aid. Like, he gave him CPR and all that jazz, man. And Matt managed to come back alive. And then Matt also, by the way, I think he was given something. There was like this poem that's written on like either his new spear or knife. I'm not sure, but I think that his new staff has like a blade at the end. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's going to be a new way of fighting for him. But something about how the price had been paid, I'm not sure what he had give. What did he give to attain all of this stuff? I have no freaking idea. So anyway, then out of nowhere, these random evil spirits came out of nowhere. They came in the form of dust and dirt and wind, I don't know. And then Matt and Rand were fighting them off, and then eventually Rand kind of took Lanthea's advice, I don't know what she said, but he kind of did, to defeat them, because he didn't know how to use the one power in the given moment until he kind of just, destroyed everything. And that's when they were running away. Now, before they ran away, this is a very important part, I think. It's like a prophecy. So the sun hadn't quite set yet, and then Rand was like, by the time we get down, it will be dawn. And isn't that one of the prophecies? He who comes with the dawn. Oh my days, bro. And then, yeah, he's like there waiting for me. And that concludes part 3 of the Shadow Rising. Okay, so I'm not gonna make any predictions because, like I said, my mind is kind of rusty with this whole entire story. So I'm just gonna continue to read and find out. Raffo, like what you guys used to say. So yeah, that's going to conclude. I actually really like this part. I really enjoyed this part. It was very different from every other part, I really enjoyed this part. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you still haven't. What are you guys doing, cuz? Subscribe, and yeah, do all the fun stuff, comment down below, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video now. Take care now. Bye.